We've got an urgent communique from the Pentagon. Let's open it. It says, ninjas have kidnapped the president. Are you a bad enough dude to rescue him?
Hardbody, we're the baddest dudes, but today we're going to need a little help.
Need a little backup.
We're going to need a little help from the hottest thing in plush entertainment on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. The DillPickle has joined us today on the Average Bros podcast.
Hello, everyone.
Is plush entertainment like a whole genre now?
Oh, no, you don't know this, but the DillPickle he's like the Vince McMahon of plush entertainment. He has made it entertainment to where people were just doing plush videos. He's like, no, I'm doing entertainment. Here's a story. We got 6-part, 7-part, 8-part stories going on with these plushes. And he is the man, the mastermind behind it all.
So you're telling me you watch the plush entertainment for the storyline?
I watch plush entertainment for the storyline, the characters. I get invested. I am committed to these characters. And if one of them were to die, I don't know what I would do with myself.
DillPickle, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name's DillPickle, of course, and I make plush videos with lots of characters that you might know about. Probably like, I don't know, Will Byers from Stranger Things, Clowny from Piggy, Luigi from Mario Brothers, Baby Mario, and lots of others. So, if you want to find out all the others, go check out my channel.
So, DillPickle, I'm going to ask you a question. When did you start collecting the plushes, and when did you get the idea to go on to YouTube with these plushes with your ideas and stories?
Honestly, it was, started watching a bunch of plush videos, and I just thought, hey, I should do this. So, I grabbed my stuffed animals that I had, and I started collecting, and I actually had another YouTube channel called Dino's Film Productions, which has been deleted. And, well, now I make shorts, and I just made my first full-length plush video with Baby Mario in it.
Now, isn't it true that this is going to be something for the listeners out there that may not know this? Maybe some of your viewers will actually come and listen to this knowing that you're here. Maybe they want to get to know the DillPickle. They want to get to know the man behind the shorts, the man behind the videos that they're watching and giving that thumbs up to and hitting that subscribe button for. Isn't it true that you once were going to make a plush version of Hamilton?
That was true, and it might actually still be in the works.
But weren't you going to change the songs around? Like,
yes.
You weren't going to do Hamilton. You weren't going to be like, Alexander. You were going to make it like... Bendy. That's it. You were going to make it Bendy from...
Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Bendy and the Ink Machine. Underrated indie game, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Very underrated.
So, we got DillPickle here today with us, ladies and gentlemen. So, obviously, the topic is not professional wrestling. We may get to that at the end of the show. Me and Hardbody may talk a little bit about what's been going on lately, because I do have a lot to say about it. But today, what are we getting, boys?
I hear we're talking about some video games and Marvel.
When we talk about video games, we're not just talking about the stuff that's out today, the stuff that's coming out tomorrow. We're going to talk about the past, the present, and the future. Now, when I say that, I'm talking about me and Hardbody are going to talk about some classic stuff. The DillPickle may be a youngin', but he has played a lot of the classic stuff with us, with his buddies, with me, with his Nana and Pop, with his mother, all these different things. But we're going to get past that. Today it's all about video games, correct? Or am I wrong?
Well, we're going to talk about video games first. The DillPickle wants to talk about some Marvel, too. And then we're going to go from there and kind of see where the conversation takes us.
All right, well then let's start this conversation off nice and simple, boys. Give me the top 3 games that you're playing right now.
I can't really give you 3 because I'm only playing 1 because I'm a busy guy. The Hardbody's got a lot of the world and wrestling to entertain out here. So I'm just playing MLB The Show 21, and it's a grind fest.
DillPickle, hit him.
Minecraft, Fortnite, and that's really all I can give you.
That's it? That's all you got? All right, well,
Animal Crossing!
Animal Crossing. I heard it's not a town you want to mess around in.
I heard it's Tom Nook's town.
I heard you may owe some shells.
Yeah, he's got a monopoly on the whole island.
Well, Diamond Steve is sitting here playing his U's. I'm playing Destiny 2. Got to get my grind on, you know what I'm saying? I got to get to that next light level. I got to stop the darkness with my beefy boy Titan. Then I'm playing that Battlefield open beta this weekend, which I have to say is really good compared to what Battlefield 5 was. Did not really enjoy that one, but I'm really enjoying this beta, even though it's just one map, but it's a beta and I can get past that, and this one map will be the map that everyone knows what to do on when the game comes out. I've also transitioned to PC. So I'm playing Battlefield on PC, which is really hard for me as a guy who grew up playing on controller.
Don and Steve, what made you transition to the PC Master Race?
I transitioned to the PC Master Race because I have about 3 or 4 friends now. Actually about 6 now that are on PC, but we're also on PlayStation. I'm all about playing games, right? I'm all about it. I own Destiny on my PC and my PlayStation. The only reason I do that is because you can cross-save. So what I do on my PlayStation with my friends that only have PlayStation, I can go get on the PC later on and have the same characters, the same level, all the same stuff that I've been doing. And not all games do that. And I feel like some games should. Fortnite, I can play on my PlayStation. And then I can get on my PC. And guess what? I'm the same level. I got all my same skins. I got everything I had before.
Yeah, cross-platform is a great thing that we've started to see now. Why do you think it took so long to go to cross-platform?
Well, if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it then. If you ask me, it's because the game companies, or actually not even really the game companies, more of the people that were making the systems couldn't get along. PlayStation wanted nothing to do with Microsoft. Or Sony wanted nothing to do with Microsoft. Exactly. DillPickle just said it, ladies and gentlemen. Say it again a little bit louder.
Console wars.
Exactly. PlayStation doesn't want you to play with an Xbox player. They want you to buy that PlayStation to play with PlayStation players. That way, if you have a friend that has an Xbox and he's out all the time because your other 3 friends have PlayStations, it's going to kind of make that guy want to buy a PlayStation, right?
Yes, but over time, they found that they actually make more money when these game companies just release the game for both systems. And now, hey, everybody can play with everybody.
No, exactly. Look how long it took from MLB The Show, the game that you're playing right now, to get onto the system you're playing.
Oh, I waited forever, ever since MLB 2K
That's been a PlayStation exclusive for like the last 7 or 8 years.
Oh, more than that.
Probably, yeah.
MLB The Show has been exclusive for a long time.
Well, MLB The Show didn't come out till PlayStation 3, if I'm not mistaken. That's when the MLB The Show, franchise started.
I think it's PS2.
Is it?
When we think about it really coming into its own, it's on the PS3. However, the MLB franchise started much earlier with that, with MLB 98 and things like that for the Sony PlayStation.
Now, as someone who plays first-person shooter, which is Destiny, and obviously Battlefield right now, but that's just for the weekend. But Destiny, well, I'll just talk about Destiny for a little bit, okay? So everyone's tracking. If you play against a PC player, it's ridiculous as a guy on a controller, from what I can tell. People don't want to do it.
No, because the mouse is so much more accurate, and you just get smoked. And the aim assist is not. Is there even an aim assist in Destiny?
I don't believe there is anymore. Some guns have them built in. When you get a certain exotic, it will feel like it has an aim assist, and usually Bungie comes in and goes, "LOL, we got to fix that because it's too powerful."
Yeah.
But the crossplay kind of started with Minecraft. If you think about it, that was one of the first games that had the crossplay option to be able to play with other systems and PC. Even though even at the time it might have just been PC and Xbox. But it's still the first one to do it. And I believe Fortnite followed, and then Call of Duty, whatever one we're on now, followed, and
yeah.
And then all the other games.
Well, all the competitive games are going cross-platform. NBA, baseball, football, shooters. You're not going to get a Mario cross-platform.
No.
You're not going to get a Mario Party cross-platform.
No.
We did get a Mario. Well, no, we didn't.
Yeah, you're only going to see third-party games be cross-play because they're coming out for multiple systems. You're not going to get Mario come out for Xbox.
Exactly. Now, do you think if Nintendo wanted to make even more money, they would do that? Now let's talk about this for a second. You're not going to put Mario, obviously. Mario is a standard 2-player game that you don't really need to put crossplay on. But I'm mostly talking about Smash.
I still don't think they'll do it because the Smash community is so strong and so large. Heck, the Smash community is still playing Smash Brothers Melee on the GameCube.
You're absolutely right. There's a lot of people in the Smash community that don't play the new Smash without a GameCube converted controller for the Switch.
Yeah, and they want to mod it as well.
Yes, they want to mod it. Dill, what do you think about it?
Honestly, I haven't played enough, but I have watched a lot of videos of people modding the characters. It just look wrong. Honestly.
Yeah,
just wrong.
There's a lot of cursed images when it comes to Smash Brother mods.
Yes. Like Kirby with feet.
Kirby has feet.
Human feet.
Ah!
Yeah, giant
Okay.
feet.
So, back to this whole. We're gonna get off this cross-platform thing because I feel like we could spend the whole show on cross-platform, cross-play, all this different stuff that you got going on. Hit me with what you think is the definition of your experience of playing video games.
Oh, the definition is 1989 Christmas morning, opening up that box, and it says Nintendo Entertainment Center, and it's got Nintendo Entertainment System, and it's got the light gun. It's got the 2 control decks. It's got Mario Brothers. It's got Duck Hunt. And I'm going to school after Christmas break. And everybody got the same thing.
What about you, Dill?
Honestly, these days, it's just getting them on the eShop, and you're like, okay, I have this game now. Nice.
I think the eShop is really convenient, but nothing could beat going into service merchandise, getting the little card that's got Legend of Zelda on it, taking it to the cashier, and getting that new video.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that for a second. You don't even know what we're talking about when we say this.
I kind of know the old thing of getting video games on cards until I got the Switch.
No. We're not even talking about getting a card and then a code on it. Well, back in the day, which was a Wednesday, by the way.
Yeah.
You would have to go to, like, say, Toys R Us as a kid, and instead of seeing the games in, like, a glass display, and you'd be like, hey, man, come open the glass display. I want Legend of Zelda or Ocarina of Time. You would grab this little card, walk up to the register, and then you'd have to wait for a guy to go 30 minutes to the back of the store to get said game and come back with it. And then he would be pissed when he'd look at the next person in line who has a card and he has to walk all the way back. Now, see, I had a buddy who worked for Toys R Us when we still did this back in like 2002, 2003. And what he would do was, if he had like 5 people in line, he would look and see at all the people in line. And then he would be like, who's getting a video game? And people would put their little card up and he'd be like, give them to me now. And he would go get them all and then come back.
And they're like, here's our $60.
Yeah, here's our $60. Thank you very much. My son really wants Ocarina of Time, which isn't the Grest Zelda game. I'm just throwing that out there right now.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get to that.
So, right now, though, you're right, Dill. Right now, the best way to buy video games, because GameStop is a ripoff, is just buy them digitally.
Yeah. Only good thing that you can get from GameStop is super cool plushes.
Yeah, that's how they stay in business.
Yeah, that's the only reason why they're staying in business, because they have all those cool collectibles in there. Oh, by the way, today, Josh Hardbody. Guess what Funko Pop I found at GameStop just a couple minutes ago?
Ooh, what's that?
China.
What?
Yeah.
The 9th wonder of the world.
The 9th wonder of the world, China. Can't believe that WWE actually authorized a Funko Pop to be made of her. But then again, I guess they're over it, because she's passed away now and she's not making adult entertainment anymore. Good for her. Good for Joni. But yeah, I found her Funko Pop, and obviously I only collect the old wrestling Funko Pops. Now I do have a quick question for you. They had a Triple H from SummerSlam 2009. Would that be considered a vintage wrestling Funko Pop?
To me, no, because 2009 was like 7 minutes ago.
I agree. Okay, that's the reason why Triple H is still sitting on their shelf and not in my car in a bag.
I was 2 years old when that happened.
You were a year old.
Ah.
Yes.
Indubitably. So, now.
Also,
go ahead.
If to any people from DillPickle listening to this, we got 3 new characters coming soon.
Oh, hit us with the new characters.
Bullet Bill, Baby Rosalita, and Luigi.
Now, speaking of Luigi time, my very first video game experience being Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo Entertainment Center changed my life. Did it do the same for you?
Yes, I'm still playing video games to this day, and the one thing that I can say that attests to that is Nintendo, the NES. Exactly what you were just talking about. Everyone got one. Everyone wanted to play it. Everyone knew what it was. And if you were a kid on the street that didn't have one, you were getting looked at like, what's wrong with your parents?
I also remember that the first video game console that I remember I ever kept at my house was a Nintendo 3DS.
Which is not a bad handheld system.
It was actually pretty good.
What do you think the best game on the 3DS is, Dill?
This is tricky. Mario Kart. Had to be. I love that game. I played it until it died.
Not Smash 3DS? That's a pretty lit game.
That is a pretty good one. That was a really good port.
I never got it.
I mean, that's okay. We get it.
Yeah, the DS era of handhelds kind of passed me by. I had the Game Boy Pocket, and then my buddies had the big brick Game Boy with the green screen. It wasn't black and white,
Oh.
it was green and greener.
Let me tell you a tale. A tale of when Diamond Steve moved from the inner city of New York City.
New York, so good they named it twice.
The city's so nice, they named it twice, ladies and gentlemen. When I moved, we took a train from New York to Florida. By the way,
A train?
a train.
I have not heard this story.
That's
Okay.
kind of sus.
We took a train from New York to Florida. To make me and my brother not be grouchy on said train, we got, lo and behold, the Game Boy. And let me tell you what games we got. We got Tetris.
Love it.
We got Super Mario Land.
Love it.
Underrated Super Mario game.
Very good.
It's crazy. You look at Super Mario Land today, and it's simple, and Mario's shooting super balls, and the turtles explode, and it seems kind of weird. But when we go back to when that came out, that's crazy to have on a handheld.
Okay, but now to the pivotal point of this story. All right. We got these so that we would be calm on the train. Our train left at 5 p.m. That means the sun went down at like 7. Guess who could not see the screen of his Game Boy?
Oh,
So,
no.
so the parents didn't splurge on the backlight thing.
We didn't get the backlight till like 7 months later when my dad was like, we're going on a car trip at night. We need to figure out a way for them to be able to see their Game Boys.
I personally had a hard time playing the Game Boy in the car because it would give me motion sickness. Did you experience any of that?
I did not experience any motion sickness. I've never been one to get sick in the car.
I am not one to get sick in the car either. I can be running around going nuts and I'll just be sitting there totally normal. My mom watches it, we'll probably be pulling over to throw up.
So that's a very valid point. So I had the light on the back of the Game Boy, you know, the $20 accessory that you paid for that you had to take off and on just to put a game into the Game Boy because, you know, it didn't move. You know what I mean? Because it was just like in there. That thing didn't actually work, and you still couldn't see the Game Boy screen.
I figured it didn't. Now, they also had a peripheral that was the extra speakers. Did you have that too, or did you just have the backlight?
No, I just had the backlight. My dad's like, I don't want to hear it. You're not getting anything that makes it louder. Get out of my face. Because when he was talking about us going on a night trip, and he was like, we got to figure out a way to keep them entertained, blah, blah, blah. Me and my brother at the time were like, you know, they make a backlight for the Game Boy.
Yeah.
When you can put it on the Game Boy and gives us a light to where we can see our Game Boy, and we'll be quiet as church mouses, as they say. Well, that didn't work, so we still annoyed him in the car. He's trying to listen to like Randy Travis, and he can't listen to Randy Travis. My mother's like, where's Garth? And I'm like, I want out of this car. Blah, 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 blah.
Why is my brother touching me?
So that's the amazing thing about consoles today. They don't need a backlight.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk more about when we were kids, right? Have you ever heard of a Game Gear, DillPickle?
Oh,
What?
no.
A Game Gear.
The Sega Game Gear.
So this was the answer to the Game Boy by Sega. The Game Gear was, this is literally the Sega system on a handheld. It was in color.
Yep.
Sonic was good on that game.
It wasn't just the Sega system on handheld. It was pretty much a Sega Master System.
Yes.
On handheld that nobody had in the United States.
No one had a
by
Master
then.
System in the United States. That
That's
was
a
like in
Europe,
London
Brazil
and
thing.
like, yeah. So you had this system, this Game Gear system. And again, we're talking about what, 93, 94?
Yeah, something like that.
We were 7,
Yeah,
maybe
6,
8,
7.
6 or 7. And you had this Game Gear Master System in your hand.
All 6
You want to know
AA
what would
batteries.
happen to your hands after playing for like an hour. They would start burning like you were holding lava.
You had enough batteries to play for an hour?
That happens sometimes when playing a Nintendo Switch. It
I've
gets so overheated that I like go to pick it up after putting it down for like 5 minutes. Ah! That's hot.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Look how far we've come with gaming systems now. I know we're talking about video games, so let's talk about the gaming systems. We've kind of been on this kick. The gaming systems themselves, look at the motivation that they've had to continue these things. I remember at one point Nintendo was talking about not making Game Boy anymore because they weren't selling.
Yeah, and then they came out with the Game Boy Advance and it changed everything.
Yeah, the Game Boy Color changed everything for me, and that was before the Advance.
The Game
You
Boy
could
Color
see.
was terrible.
It was smaller. You could see it. Are you serious right now?
Yeah, absolutely. It was backlit.
Did you have a regular Game Boy?
Yes.
When?
I had the Game Boy Pocket.
Did it have color on it?
No.
Did not have color on it?
It did not, but I did have a Super Game Boy, and that's how I got my Game Boy Color fix.
Super Game Boy is super good. That was like one of the greatest things Nintendo ever did, was letting you play the Game Boy games on the big screen.
Oh yeah, Pokemon on my Super Nintendo. Super
Pokemon,
fun. You know you're my best friend in the world we must
I'm not
defend.
getting copyrighted today.
I don't think anybody's gonna copyright strike.
I don't think we're gonna have enough people to actually listen to copyright strike us, and if they did, we're just fans. We enjoy their products. We're telling them how we feel about it. We're telling them about the nostalgia we have. Nintendo, if you sue, you have all the money in the world. What do you want? My Minecraft diamonds?
I have a lot of Minecraft diamonds.
I also have a lot of collectibles, but I mean, we can have a discussion.
Netherite.
So Dill, we just brought up Pokemon. What's your favorite Pokemon?
Pikachu. Let's go Pikachu.
No, the Pokemon game. Oh, Let's Go Pikachu. Isn't that like Gen 1 just on the Switch?
That's Gen 1, but it's the Pikachu, the yellow copy, the one that came out after all the Gen 1s came out, and then you can get Pikachu off the bat. That's that one.
Yeah.
It came out on the Switch, redone and everything else. But, if I'm not mistaken, Dill, would that be the first Pokemon game you got to play, really?
No, if I had to remember, it was all the way back. It was on the 3DS. It was something. Why?
Oh, you played
Y?
Pokemon X and Y on the 3DS.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, X and Y is pretty cool. I'm personally pretty partial to Gen 1 and Gen 2.
Me as well. And that's probably just nostalgia and the age talking. And
Definitely.
I don't like the way the new Pokemon look. I'm not a big fan of it. No, you're good. And,
How did you get stuck on Pokemon? Please explain.
I don't know. I was 5 at the time.
Well, you didn't read the dialogue. It's key.
No, me when I see dialogue. No.
Speaking of not reading dialogue, I had a buddy, and we all had Super Nintendos, and we would play all the big RPGs. Think Lufia 2, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 2 and 3, which is 4 and 6.
Secret of Mana.
Secret of Mana, Secret of Evermore. But my friend would never read the dialogue, and he would get lost. And I'm like, well, I mean, where'd they tell you to go? So I didn't read it. Why are you playing the game? He's like, I just like to grind random battles. What is wrong with him?
Look, that's the problem with nowadays, even though now. So, like, nowadays, you have, and I'm going to hit on something like the way you learn how to play the game. And I know that another individual on the internet's already touched on this. Ego Raptor has touched on the annoying, like, in-game teaching you how to play. Mega Man. Yeah, exactly.
That sucks.
And, like, instead of just being like, here's the stage, figure it out. Like, that's what I remember as a kid. I'm going to bring back Mega Man to the table. Because before, you know, his video, before you had, like, YouTube where you can be like, how do I do this puzzle? No, you better get in there. You better play the game. That's the only way you're going to figure it out.
Or at the lunch table.
Or at the lunch table, you and your buddies are going to be like, bro, how do you get through Gutsman's or Gutsman's stage? Bro, jump on the platforms before they fall. And jump up right as it falls, and then when it comes back up, you'll land on it.
Yeah, get good, nerd.
Yeah, get good. I would just like to sit here and say that I've beaten Mega Man 1 with just the lemons. Obviously, I did that when I was like 17, and then my NES died.
I definitely don't believe you.
So I remember, this has nothing to do with me, this has nothing to do with you guys. I remember I was watching a video, and it was a dude, and he told a story of how his dad had worked all the way to the very end of Super Mario 3, and he was like 5 at the time, and he wanted to see Mario jump. He deleted the save file that his dad had worked on all the way and got into the end of the entire video game.
There's no save file in Mario 3.
Yeah, there's no save file.
He restarted it.
But there's no save file in Mario 3. Like, you have to play it from the beginning every time you turn on and off that game.
The one that...
Are you thinking of Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo?
Or possibly the Super Mario Brothers All-Stars pack that does have a save function.
That could be it too. Or possibly, was he playing Super Mario RPG, and if my child ever deleted my save from Super Mario RPG, I would never play that game again, and I would walk away violently before I beat my child.
Absolutely devastated.
Hi, I'm the child.
Definitely. My sister deleted my Super Mario World save after I had beaten the Star Worlds, like Tubular and Bogus and all that, and I punched her.
I was playing Final Fantasy VIII, and I don't want to get into this. I'm just talking about saves and them getting deleted.
I'm definitely getting into Final Fantasy
look,
VIII.
I was playing Final Fantasy VIII, and the only reason why I even say Final Fantasy VIII because this is what happened to me. Mm-hmm. On the PlayStation, we all know PlayStation 1, you had the little memory card.
Yes.
My brother, at the time, took my memory card and pawned it for money for other things that we're not going to talk about on this podcast because everyone sitting in this room knows what I'm talking about.
What?
And on the internet.
And on the internet, indeed. Everyone listening is going to be like, oh, he did it for this.
Yes.
I'm just not going to bring it out there.
Read between the lines.
But I was up to the very last boss of Final Fantasy VIII. I had the weapon. I had everything you needed to beat him. My Squall, or whatever the character's main name was like 99999. Mm-hmm. Or however much, 999 I think was the highest you can get your character.
Okay, yeah, and you had all the max stats.
Yeah,
9,000.
yeah, like I grinded to get him up to that.
What is wrong with you?
I did it with all the Final Fantasies. I was just a Final Fantasy fan. This story just takes place in Final Fantasy VIII's timeline because that's when he stole my memory card and pawned it.
I don't know why you're getting upset about Final Fantasy VIII. I haven't criticized it yet.
I'm not criticizing it. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it is. I'm just telling a story of when someone pretty much didn't delete my my file, but did it to where I couldn't play my save file anymore in a different way instead of just getting on and deleting it. Which has happened to me in other games with my brother when he gets pissed off at me. He'll literally just turn on the system, delete my save file. He did it to Legend of Dragoon. He deleted my save file.
That's a good one.
So, on the topic of, like, obviously we were talking about Final Fantasy, but we were talking about Super Mario All-Stars. What about reboots?
Reboots? What do you mean when you say reboots?
When I think of reboots, I think of like Metroid Other M and things like that. Not so much a reboot, but it's a return to a earlier type of style.
But when we talk about reboots, there's two different types of things here, D. May I call you D, DillPickle?
Sure.
Okay. So, there's two different things we like to think about here. One, reboots in movies and reboots in video games are completely different. You play a video game for about, say, 30 years, and it's the same thing over and over and over again. And sometimes the developers feel like, well, we got to go a different way. Hardbody brings up a very good point. Metroid Other M, Metroid Prime 2, completely different than Super Metroid.
Except Metroid Prime is good and Other M is not.
Okay,
yeah.
When I talk about All-Stars, I'm talking about like the one that they just came out with the Switch with all the 3D ones, like Galaxy, 64, Sunshine.
Yeah, that's something Nintendo's been doing for a really long time. On the NES, they had the Donkey Kong Classics collection. You remember that one, Dynasty?
Yes. I do remember the Donkey Kong Classic collection. But also, I see what he's saying too, but also for the Super Nintendo, Nintendo knows they're going to make money off the people with nostalgia. Like, oh, my NES is broken. Nintendo's like, hey, we just came out with this Super NES game that has all the NES Mario games on it for $49.99 if you want it. And it also has, you ready for this, Hardbody? Secret levels that you never got to play from Mario 1.
Oh, no, it's the Lost Levels.
Lost
it's a
levels,
whole game.
Lost level, I'm sorry.
It's a whole game that is impossible. It's unbeatable. It can't be done.
But then you got like things going on like reboots. Like I'm gonna go back to Metroid Prime, where it's not. They felt like they had to do something different.
Yeah,
and it worked.
Yeah,
it worked. Look at one of my favorite franchises of all time, Resident Evil series. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about it. Okay, so you had Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, Code Veronica, and they were all the same games. You're really blocky walking, like you had to save at the typewriter, blah blah blah. And then Hardbody, when we were in high school, a certain game came out named
Resident Evil 4.
And that changed the horror genre forever. But then you have to go back to it and think about it, though, okay? Because I'm going to save your thought, but I'm just going to finish what I have to say because I'm going to forget about it. So you have Resident Evil 4 that changed the horror genre forever. It was still horror, but you had action.
Yeah.
And then they gave you a little bit more of the action with Resident Evil 5, plus they were like, bring a friend along.
Yes.
Which I thought was a really cool topic.
Ooh, and Chris Redfield's there.
Chris Redfield's there, and he's on the juice!
Oh,
as Kevin Nash would say.
What happened to that guy?
So, we all know Monopoly and stuff. Let's talk about what we're still on the topic of video game before we move on to Marbles. What are, like, things that have come from video games like Mario? Obviously, we have Mario Monopoly, Mario Game of Life, which I played last night. This Diamond Steve here is in love with Diddy Kong.
Oh, yeah, so caveat to that real fast. DillPickle, we'll get back to that, but let me finish my thought on Resident Evil real fast. Resident Evil went to the action-y, 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Not great games, but they were decent. Me and my buddy Hobo, we went and played all those multiplayer versions of those games because he's playing the Resident Evil series for the first time. And then they, the fan project was like, we don't want this anymore. And they were like, all right. Capcom's like, we got you. Here's a first-person Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 7. Perfect. Brought back to the straight survival horror. The only difference was you were in first person this time, and it didn't have anything to do with Raccoon City or anything like that.
Jump scares were worse, I'm guessing.
Jump scares were there.
Yeah, did they have quick time events too?
Press A not to die. They did not have quick time events in Resident Evil 7. And then Resident Evil 8 came out. Now, when you're as a fan and you're sitting there watching this trailer for Resident Evil 8, Chris Redfield is like killing this dude's wife in like the first 5 minutes of the trailer. And you're like, what is going on? Chris is the nostalgic good guy of this whole series. I love what they did with him. A spoiler alert. Chris is like the most PTSD, drinking, I'm smoking cigarettes now. He's like, what am I doing with my life in this video game? And it's perfect. But they changed it up. Resident Evil 8 was even a little different than Resident Evil 7 because it had a little more action to it. But it was almost felt like Resident Evil 4-ish. That's what I'm saying. When you can have a good reboot, you can have a good change to your game.
The only thing I can think about when it comes to Resident Evil is Resident Evil 3 and my girl Jill in a tube top.
I'm not saying that the outfits made sense or the costumes made sense.
Yeah, they made all the sense. That's my...
Coming from you, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's my girl right there. I know Nemesis wasn't that great, but Jill, what's her name is?
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Alright, but that's my kick on Resident Evil, and I guess we can like change the topic from reboots here. But let's talk about what Dylan's talking about, the things you get from video games.
Yeah, they turn into franchises, and the big one is Mario. Mario's everywhere, and he's been around for 30 years.
Like he just said, you got Mario Monopoly, and
Mario
there's like
Game of Life.
There's like 4 different versions of Mario Monopoly alone, where you can get like the Mario All-Star version where it's celebrating Mario, and like each piece that you can play as is a different Mario from a different game. You have the one that has like all Mario Kart that DillPickle has. Mario Game of Life, DillPickle has. We played it last night before we shot this podcast, and the reason why he says I'm Diddy Kong Crazy is because you can get companions in that game, and I wanted Diddy and Donkey.
Who?
Someone stole my donkey.
Who was it that I had that just made me OP? Gave me 2 more extra moves. Donkey Kong.
Donkey.
OP.
Everything you spin, 2 extra spaces.
Oh,
it was
baby!
lit.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really
good. And then
good.
some of the power-ups. Mushroom, 5 more spaces. I got up to 11, and that's not even possible.
Well, and heck, Mario even has 2 movies. They got a new one coming out, and then the old bad one with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo.
Yeah, I mean, when you were a kid, though. When you were a kid.
It was still terrible. Come on.
It was terrible, but you still went to see it.
Oh, definitely.
You went paid. And I'm real surprised now when you listen to like podcasters talk about it. Like, okay, shout out to OSW, big fans. I watched their movie review of Super Mario Brothers, and they were like, this movie didn't make as much money as it cost to make. And I'm like, I'm surprised by that. Because I remember every kid in my class being like, what are you doing this weekend? I'm going to see the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
Because when you watch the trailers, you're like, all right, I get what they're doing. Let's go see it. The dude looks like Mario. I can get over John Leguizamo as Luigi, but he looks like Luigi too. If you think about it, he's just missing a mustache. And
Dennis Hopper's there.
And Dennis Hopper's there, and he's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember I watched a review on it, and they swapped the colors on Luigi and Mario.
Yes.
That?
Yeah. It doesn't make sense when they go to the nightclub. You remember when they go to the nightclub and Mario's in yellow and Luigi's in red? And how hard would it have been to find a green suit and a red suit and put it on them?
I don't think that the writers and directors were very concerned with the source material in that film.
I definitely don't think so. I mean, when you sit there and watch these films from the 90s, let's talk about it for a second.
Double Dragon, Mortal Kombat.
I'm going to get out from this for a little bit.
Double Dragon, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter.
I'm going to get in this boot and go up to the river. Hey, Kylie Minogue is in that movie too. I love Kylie.
And you have let's think of the 90s.
Get you out of my head.
Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Double Dragon, Super Mario Brothers. Those were the 4 big video game movies from the 90s I can think of.
Yep.
Without I'm not talking about sequels, so we're not even going to talk about Mortal Kombat.
Humiliation.
Yeah, we're not even talking about Annihilation or whatever it's called, because that movie is just terrible.
Yeah.
Out of those 4 movies, which one could you stand the most?
Only the original Mortal Kombat. It's bad, but it's watchable.
It's watchable, and I enjoyed watching some podcasters talk about it, and they bring up the fact of like how the internet, if the internet was a thing when that movie came out, everyone would be pissed because Scorpion and Sub-Zero are working together. Do you know the director changed lines in that movie to make it make sense?
Really?
Yeah, so you know the line where Shang Tsung's like, Scorpion and Sub-Zero, deadliest of enemies, but powerless under my control. That's how he made it make sense, because it's like, alright, yeah, they still hate each other, but Shang Tsung's got him under his control, so they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, but to be fair, nobody cared about the story of Mortal Kombat. We were here for the blood and the fatalities. Unless you had the Super Nintendo, then you didn't get the blood.
That movie was PG-13. It wasn't even rated R.
And
For
then
a
they
video
made a
game.
reboot, and it's rated R.
Yes, it's rated R because they were like, well, we all know what the fans want. They want the blood, they want the fatalities, they want Goro ripping arms off, they want this,
Yeah.
they want that.
And I want more Kano.
Yeah, like, we want to see Kung Lao ride his little hat through a lady in the movie.
Oh,
What?
fly high Kung Lao, by the
Yeah,
way.
by the way.
Sorry, I have so questions.
It's one of his fatalities from the game, too, and they did it in the movie, and it's very graphic. When you're 3 more years, we'll watch it.
Oh, I've already watched that with my 13-year-old. It slaps, as the young people say.
Okay, well, DillPickle just saw a movie that had 1 foul language in it, which
And
is
I
Venom.
laughed my face off. We'll get to more. We'll get more on that movie later.
Oh, to be young again. I remember watching Terminator with my father when I'm
Yeah,
like 6.
you think about it. Like, I remember being like 7 and my dad watching RoboCop on like Cinemax on a free weekend, and he's like, "Have you ever seen RoboCop? It's about a robot cop." I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool. Yeah, let's watch RoboCop. It's about a robot cop." Then you get to the scene where they're like, and they're blowing his arms off and stuff and his legs, and then they shoot him in the head. I'm just like, all right. And then you watch like Total Recall, and it's like the same thing. I'm talking about the original Total Recall.
Yeah.
No one wants that. Colin Farrell's Total Recall never happened. We're not talking about it. I watched that movie. It's terrible. Get your ass to Mars. That's all I have to say.
If it never happened, how are you talking about it?
Yeah.
We're pretending it didn't happen. I love Total Recall. I love all those campy movies from the 1980s and the early 90s.
What just got added to HBO Max? Bloodsport. Watched it immediately.
Bloodsport is a documentary. Is Bloodsport is Bloodsport the best Van Damme movie?
Bloodsport to me is the best. It's my favorite Van Damme movie. To be honest with you, it's my favorite Van Damme.
Ooh,
movie.
better than Kickboxer?
Bloodsport's my favorite Van Damme movie.
Lionheart?
Bloodsport's my favorite Van Damme movie.
Time Cop.
Ooh, Time Cop, like when the bad guy merges with himself from the past and the future.
Yeah, and he's doing the splits and all that stuff. Oh yeah, Jean-Claude, that's my guy.
Man. Oh, but you sit here and you watch these, and you sit here and think about like all this stuff that we got from back in the day, and the video games, and let's just talk about entertainment in general.
Sure.
From the 90s to now.
Video games have been a key part of entertainment from really 1985 on.
Yeah.
Because the Nintendo Entertainment Center was so huge.
Yeah, it was really huge for Nintendo. I mean, you talk to our parents, they'll talk about Atari.
Yeah.
But for our age group, it's Nintendo and up. It's
Yeah.
Nintendo, Super Nintendo, then the Sega CD, Sega Saturn, PlayStation, N64,
Yeah.
GameCube, PlayStation 2, so on and so forth. I can keep going, but I'm just going to run out of...
We all know.
We all know what's there, what's not there. We all know what is... I'm going to get you on a hot topic here. What's retro and what's not.
Oh, definitely.
Josh, is PlayStation retro?
No.
What's retro?
Well, PlayStation isn't retro because what you're doing in the games in 3D has not fundamentally changed from the PlayStation era to today. The graphics are just better and the consoles are more powerful. Now, that being said, I'm a member of the Retro Gaming Reddit, and I think it's super awesome because it's got the 40-somethings that are into Atari and ColecoVision and the Pong TV consoles, that had the RF connector that you got to screw into the back of the TV. Then there's people that are our age, the 30-somethings, that are really into into Nintendo. Maybe they're European and they like the Master System. and things like that. And then there's teenagers that are they're 13, 14, 15, and they're collecting stuff from all of the generations. And for them, I understand that they consider PlayStation retro because it came out before they were born. How could it not be?
I feel like DillPickle has a hot take to tell us.
Go ahead.
So, I was gonna say, we talked about video games quite a bit. What if we moved on to the Marvel stuff?
We're slowly getting there. We got to
All
slowly
right.
progress to it, Dill.
It's a
We're
slow
gonna get
burn.
there. We're gonna get to the Marvel. We're gonna get to the video games. But Dill, tell me, what was the first retro video game other than Mario that you played? What's the first one that you can think of off the top of your head?
Mario.
No, that's not Mario.
Sonic.
Sonic. All right,
Sonic
another
is
classic.
the life.
Another classic. What are some categories of games that you enjoy, Dill? I.e., like first-person shooter, RPG, action.
Shooter games that are kid-friendly. And building games, sandbox, and story Harry Potter type games. Maximum Ride and stuff.
When you say sandbox games, what do you mean? Because when I think sandbox games, I think of the more adult stuff like GTA and things like that.
Yeah, that's what I think of.
I mean, like Minecraft.
So you're thinking of, when you say sandbox, you're talking about these games that you can build on
Yeah.
and things of that nature.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe Roblox.
Like Roblox,
Yeah.
Terraria, or was it Terraria?
Terraria?
Terraria.
Yeah.
Another one, Ark, is a big one that's kind of a mixture of like a first-person shooter slash build and stuff.
Ark is super
and,
cool.
Dinosaurs!
and you collect dinosaurs and
But-
turn them into an army.
But I have one question. Please don't kill Grandpa Dino. That's all I ask. Don't enslave him. He's had enough in his life.
He's seen too many things.
He's seen it all, folks, and knows all.
He was definitely in Turok on the N64.
He was definitely there and was spared by Torok in the N64.
How much
Because
fun
he
was Turok?
Torok was really fun, but when you go back and play it now, it is definitely not aged well.
Ooh.
It's one of those games that hasn't aged well.
Yeah.
Like if you were to get a 64 card, put it in, our eyes would probably bleed.
Yeah, I don't know that not very much from that time period has aged very well. At least the polygon stuff.
Yeah.
The sprite-based stuff still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Like that James Bond base game that you guys played once. My eyes bled.
That's not just any game. That's 007 Goldeneye. Steve, do you remember playing Goldeneye with 4 buddies on a CRT TV in your mom and dad's basement?
I definitely remember that, but not in a basement because I lived in Florida and they don't exist.
Oh, that's right. A little water gets a little moist down there.
Yeah, so I do remember that, but I also remember that with all kinds of different games. I remember doing the 4-player controller on the same screen for the wrestling games on the 64.
Yes.
And,
and then Halo. Halo was
a big one, but then by that time, everyone was getting smart to the game, and they were like, bro, I'm going to bring my TV, he's going to bring his TV, and he's going to bring his TV and his Xbox, and we're all just going to hook up via LAN cable. My dumb Jew butts like, what are you talking about, a LAN cable? They're like, don't worry, we got it. And they had like the connector where they would set up 4 LAN cables, and we were all in different areas of the room.
It's called a switch, Steve.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know this at the time.
Yeah.
I know now.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. Speaking of Halo, I'm playing Halo right now, actually. I was playing a little griff ball before I went and picked up the DillPickle today.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, that is the sound that the Halo game makes.
Yes, Halo, I really enjoyed the co-op, and the multiplayer was fun for a little while, but I kind of burned out on it. I have no interest in playing Halo again.
I have an interest in playing Halo. I'm very interested in seeing this Halo, what's the new one coming out? Yes, thank you. Thank you, DillPickle.
That
Halo
was a total
Infinite.
guess.
Totally looks good. Really looks good. And when you get to it, I understand that as well, because I also don't like that. I'm not saying I like realistic games, but I also like to be able to aim. And with
Mhm.
Halo, there's only certain guns that you can aim down sights with.
Yeah.
It really isn't my thing.
What really killed Halo for me, and this is really in Halo 1, is that pistol with the scope. Oh my goodness. Why is that so strong?
Super OP. You couldn't get past it. You could have a shotgun, and you're still going to lose that fight.
Every time it's ridiculous. And then you've got shields, and well, the pistol isn't affected by the shields, and that's why it's so strong. But doesn't make any sense.
But I mean, it's not a realistic shooter. Obviously, it's
Mm-hmm.
a space sci-fi shooter. That's what they're going for, and they accomplish that. Obviously, it's one of the biggest selling game franchises today, to the point to where you could almost compare it to Nintendo with the Super Mario collection. People bought the Master Chief collection.
Yes, they did.
They could have went and bought all those games a lot cheaper and just played the old versions of them But they were like, no, we're going to give you $59.99 more of our money and give us all the Halo games that have come out so far.
Isn't it crazy that games in 1985 were $60, in 1995 they were $60, and in 2021 they're $60?
It's a bit crazy because you would think we would have had a little bit less of a price back in the day. You go with me on this, right? Like a $60 game now makes sense to me with all the stuff that goes into it, the graphics, the gameplay ability, the replayability. Because you really didn't have replayability with these games you bought in the 80s on the NES.
No, it was you play the first level over and over again, then the second level over again, and so on and so forth.
Yes, like I don't know about you, but DuckTales. Maybe one or two
DuckTales.
stages. Maybe one stage, actually. I'm not great at that game. I mean, you can get through one stage.
Yeah, maybe
but
the jungle.
But back in the day when you played NES, you put a game in, and you're sitting there either A, picking a stage to play, like DuckTales, or you're playing like a Super Mario where you're starting on the first level every time and going forward. And really you're just seeing how far you can get.
Yeah, or a game that I played pretty heavily, Ninja Gaiden. I will never forget getting to the last boss and getting a game over when I was 13 years old and never playing Ninja Gaiden again.
And it's not like they didn't have the capability of save spaces or of passcodes, because games like Mega Man had codes. When you got past the level, they were like, here's the code to put in so that you can get back to where you are. So when you got to Wily's Castle, if you kept dying, you just kept putting the code in to get back to where you're going. Or Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Yes.
You just put the code in to get back, 3 matches before?
Oh,
if you got the Tyson, you'd have to go back 3 matches.
No, there was a code that was directly to Tyson.
You're right. Because Game Grumps did it, and he kept going back to Tyson, trying to beat Tyson. He finally beat Tyson. Good job, Danny Sexbang. You finally did it. You beat the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Tyson, or Mr. Dream. I don't know which one you were actually playing at the time.
Yeah, I remember being 18 years old with Mike Tyson making me cry in my parents' living room.
Exactly. I remember playing
Ridiculous.
Mike Tyson's Punch-Out when I was a kid and getting knocked out by a bull.
Bald Bull, man, my nemesis.
Or you get up to Super Macho Man and you're just like, I can't do this.
Yeah, I always felt like Super Macho Man was doable. The two, obviously Mike Tyson, it was the number one problem for me, but Soda Popinski, just awkward timing, and I always struggled with that guy.
Yeah, and you gotta think about that game right there, right? Like a lot of people remember Punch-Out, but when you bring up its sequel,
Super Punch-Out, hey!
Not that many people remember it.
Yeah, it was an early Super Nintendo title. I can only remember one friend in school that had it. And of course, I mean, me and him, and he played it heavily. But when you sat at the lunch table, out of the 10 kids there, one had it.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, I rented Super Punch-Out.
Yes.
I never owned Super Punch-Out. I owned, Super Mario Brothers. Everyone had Mario Brothers, Super Mario World, and stuff like that. Everyone was talking about Yoshi when he first made his appearance. You can get, yeah, there you go. You can get a dinosaur and ride him.
I'm a dinosaur.
One of the early plans for the original Super Mario Brothers was to actually have a Yoshi character. How crazy would have that been?
I mean, that would have been crazy, and I would have loved to see an 8-bit Yoshi, because it probably would have looked terrible when Mario got on him.
Yeah, clearly there's a reason they didn't do it.
To any people listening here who are good at making pixel art things, please make a pixel art Yoshi and send it to us.
Yeah, that's going to be one of those cursed images. That
Exactly. But I think we've hit the halfway point here on video games.
Oh, I can
Does
talk
anyone
about
have anything
video
else they
games
want to
for
talk about?
hours.
Anything else they got for video games?
Okay.
I think DillPickle over here wants to talk about Marvel. Why don't you lead us in there, bud?
Okay, we're going to start with Venom.
Venom. Oh, hard body. Hit him with what you got on Venom.
Tom Hardy is a man. He's 40. And he's looking at teenage Peter Parker. Ugh.
He doesn't like this, ladies and gentlemen, because he wants the original story where Peter's already working at the Daily Bugle, Venom's Eddie Brock, they don't like each other to begin with, and then Eddie gets the symbiote. And honestly, in the comics, the symbiote's just really pissed off at Spider-Man because he gave him up. And he wants to be back with him.
I understand that. This story is written for you. What are you doing, Marvel? Marvel does so... The MCU has done so well. The Spider-Man thing's done for you. Come on.
But they're doing so much right now with how little they have. I don't know what kind of money Disney was like, hey, Sony, here's this Disney money. for us to make Venom into the
Take him into the
MCU.
MCU, yeah. And to be honest with you, the Let There Be Carnage movie, the movie itself was a disappointment for me because I don't feel like it did the Carnage character justice. Because that Carnage character it's a very serious situation. And the movie's tone was so light, it didn't really work for me. As much as I enjoyed Woody Harrelson and all those things, the tone just threw the whole thing off.
I will have to agree with you there because, like, Carnage is supposed to be. They got some things right. Like, Carnage is the offspring of Venom.
Sure.
And Venom is his dad and things of that nature. Yeah, exactly. And so, but then again, it's like you said. Like, I don't like my particular part. I don't like about that movie is when Venom is telling, or when Eddie is talking to Venom and he's like, they're not symbiotic. They're not. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Carnage is the most symbiotic with Cletus Cassidy in the comics, that they refer to each other as I. He refers to himself as I. Even when the symbiote's on him, it's I. It's not we, because they're not two separate people. They're the same person. And that's what I disliked about that movie, because they completely changed the mythos of Carnage.
Now, that being said, they brought it all back with that post-credit scene.
Oh, that post-credit scene.
Hold on. I'm going to tell you this. Please skip a little bit forward if you don't want to be spoiled.
Who hasn't seen this movie?
Yeah, or who hasn't seen the post-credit scene on YouTube where it's 50... Yeah, okay, if you don't even have to talk about YouTube anymore, like, who hasn't seen the post-credit scene on TikTok? Or some other form of...
YouTube Shorts!
Yeah, like some other form of entertainment where they could have seen it. Or just gone to the internet and been like, let's see what the post-credit scene was from Venom.
And then they got
I've
spoiled
done
and
that.
they cried.
I mean, they might have gotten spoiled, or they might have gotten excited. I got excited. I got super excited when I saw that post-credit scene.
Tell them the story of how you nearly spoiled yourself to it.
Okay. I nearly spoiled myself to the post-credit scene of Venom, like the day we were going to see it, because I was on YouTube, and I was like, oh, what's this? And I clicked on it, and there it was. And I saw Venom licking the screen, Tom Holland's face. And I was like, no! And I turned it off real quick.
We talked about Mario as a franchise and the board games and the movies and the cultural phenomenon that is Mario. And Marvel is that today, but it wasn't always that way. In the late 90s and early 2000s, Marvel was about to go out of business. What did they do, Diamond Steve?
They sold their product. They sold it.
That's the reason why Venom is not in the MCU and why it took so long to get Spider-Man in the MCU.
Well, no, as a whole, Marvel sold different rights for movies to different movie studios, which is a thing that they've been doing for years. Low fact here. There's been a Captain America movie before the first Avenger. There was 2 of them in the 80s, and they were not great. Red Skull looked like a Hellraiser character with, like, blood coming around his head, and it wasn't good looking.
And there was also a Nick Fury movie with David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff.
Love it.
I need, like, a cross-platform, seeing how we're doing the multiverse with Sam Jackson and David Hasselhoff. And just give it to me for, like, a post-credit scene or something.
It's all canon now, and I love it.
Yeah, it's all canon. Everything's canon. And it's perfect. Marvel's doing the right stuff here. And again, people, and I'm going to bring it up, people talk about, well, why is DC failing where Marvel is succeeding with their characters?
A couple things. DC's making bad movies is A. B, their cinematic universe doesn't actually exist because they never built it. And Ben Affleck's not Batman anymore. And it hurts my heart.
I need the Batfleck, you know what I'm saying? We don't even, I mean, and again, like, they keep doing all these one-offs, too. Like, I'm excited for this Robert Pattinson Batman movie. Don't get me wrong. Like, I want to see it. The critics are saying it's like a horror Batman movie.
And it's not part of the DC EU, right?
Apparently it's not. But you could easily do something to make it part of the DCEU, because the DCEU and Marvel are just the same exact thing where they copy each other. If you look at it, they both have like a multiverse thing. Mm-hmm. The only difference is DC has gone so far to where they name it like Earth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to where Marvel's just like, here's a multiverse of extenuating purpose or circumstances.
Yeah.
And we're kind of seeing that right now with the TV show.
What if?
Yes, you're seeing more of that right now. What if? And I love the way they've done these TV shows. And let me explain why. Because, go ahead.
one of my friends, not gonna name any names, he thought that the TV shows would be a horrible idea. He's like, okay, they're gonna make too many TV shows that the universe is just gonna go horrendous. And then I'm watching Loki and WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I'm like, you're an idiot.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier was really good. There was a continuation after Endgame that you saw what was going on. That's what I feel like with those first two shows. Wanda, nervous breakdown. That's what happened to her after Endgame.
Kind of like House of M.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely House of M put on the light. You know what I mean? Like a light version. Like in the House of M in the comics, she's like, the whole world, F you. Magneto's king, my dad wants it, he gets it. Wolverine doesn't want to he just wants to be a ruthless killer, he gets it. Cap just wants to grow old, he gets it. Spider-Man just wants everyone he's ever lost to be back, he gets it. Everyone gets what they want.
And then it all falls apart.
And then the mutants are no more, and Magneto can't move a spoon.
And then we have a whole nother storyline after
Where,
that.
the first mutant child's born after House of M, and, so on and so forth.
The decimation.
And, but the TV shows are doing it so well because you got your first show, which was WandaVision, which was such a dramatic turn for Marvel to do something like that. And when you first watch it, if you're like me, I was like, I'm not really digging this. I wasn't digging the first episode of WandaVision.
Yeah. Like, I watched it and I'm like, it's the 1980s. This is 2020.
The 1980s.
That was like the 1950s, the first episode.
I know.
I love that,
But then, the way Marvel always does everything, it always plays out.
And then they did episode 3, which kind of had that little, like, Wanda going, yay!
But then you got
I'm glad to see the 1980s were in black and white.
Episode 4.
What was it? The episode? No, it was like the second to last episode because Harkness was taking her through her mind and showing her the past, and she was seeing, and you started to see why we were seeing sitcoms. It's because it's her happy place.
Well, episode 4 was really what made me go, oh, I can start watching this more. Because episode 4...
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Because episode 4 is when she, like, knocks out Nicole Rambo out of the world and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or was that episode 3 when she kicks her?
That.
Okay, either way, the show picked up. The show got you to pick up. Because I think actually episode 4 was when it ended with Pietro showing up. And you were like, holy crap, this is Quicksilver from the X-Men universe.
Oh, and then Disney ripped my heart out.
Shit on all of us.
Whatever. And one of the funniest things in the entire show, we found out his real name.
Yo, what was it?
For a boner joke?
Yeah, Ralph Boner.
Terrible. And I think the show was great. I just thought that was really tone deaf by Disney.
Yeah, and then you get Captain America and the Winter Soldier, which is just giving you the progression of Cap.
John Walker was awesome in that.
Yes, I loved U.S. Agent in it. I thought he was really good.
Honestly, out of all the villains, good guys turn evil, he's one of the good ones.
Yeah, he was. You saw his lead to it. But just like every other villain, he did it for the wrong purposes. He kept getting beat because he wasn't a super soldier. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
And then he took the serum, did it, and that's when he super.
And then murked that guy.
And then murked the guy with the shield. Yeah.
And gets surprised.
To explain what DillPickle just did, he sat here and went up and down with his arms as if he was holding the shield. Spoiler alert: John
Walker murders a man.
Murks a guy with Captain America's shield.
Now, you've talked a lot about...
a lot of ketchup.
Yes, a lot of ketchup. You've talked a lot about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was a more earthbound show, an earthbound storyline. Do you prefer those storylines or the big, crazy, intergalactic, interdimensional storylines?
I like the Loki. I like the WandaVision. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was good. But, like, I want the stuff where they're going to Pontai and watching it go boom.
I like the stuff with what they're doing now. I like how all the shows are tying into the next big movie, which is Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
And it didn't really even tie into Shang-Chi. It just it's tying into what they know is the future of Marvel, which is No Way Home. Maybe Eternals. I don't know.
Oh, cannot wait to see that. That's a movie that when it got announced, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Well, it's just like everyone else did. When Guardians got announced, they were like, yeah, whatever, we don't really know what these people are. Me, as a Marvel fan, I was like, give me Guardians of the Galaxy.
And then the trailer came out and everyone went nuts.
No. The trailer came out, people went and saw the movie, and then told their friends that the movie was awesome, and that's when people started going nuts.
When I first heard of Shang-Chi, I'm like, this doesn't sound good. I can just watch it and figure out who the mandarin actually is. And then I see the trailer, like one day I'm just watching YouTube, and then I see the trailer and I'm like, heck yes!
I really like what they did with the 10 rings for Shang-Chi.
That was
Instead of making
really
them
good.
actual rings, they made them like combat rings where you can like shoot them and stuff. Yeah,
It's more clear that it's alien tech as opposed to just
Yes,
having rings.
and another spoiler alert, and I know you probably don't really care, but the end credit scene of that, here's 2 questions to you. One, so the end credit scene of that is Shang-Chi and his lady friend are at dinner with their friends, Katie, and Wong shows up, and he's like, Shang-Chi, and he gets up and he goes with them through the portal, and then the credits roll, and then it comes up, and they're like, what they're looking at the rings and like this holographic type thing, and
then notice, probably, I don't know who noticed this, but Bruce Banner is unhulked.
yeah, he's unhulked.
I would imagine that we'll see the explanation of that in She-Hulk.
I would imagine we're going to see the explanation of that in general somewhere.
Yeah.
Because that's like the only big question I have from Shang-Chi. Because all it was an origin story of us getting to know that character. Okay, cool, I got it.
And I feel like the fight that they gave him was a little too big. Like, I feel like they shouldn't have given him that big of, as in Mysterio's worth an Avengers level threat.
Well, I think it works because it's an earthbound story that ends up being the big crazy story. And I think that works for this phase in particular when it comes to Marvel.
Yes. One of my favorite parts in the Eternals trailer is when Kit Harington's character, I'm not sure what the real character's name is.
I know Black Knight or
I know he's
something
going to
like
be
that.
Black Knight. I'm just not sure what like his person's name is like, why didn't you help with Thanos? When he's talking to the one girl.
Yeah.
And that's when you find out like they were told they can't get involved unless it's
The Deviants.
the Deviants or
I
whatever.
think the funniest part
What
was-
makes a deviant?
What makes the Deviants the Deviants?
Like, what makes a deviant?
Well, because they're like the mutated people that are bad, and the Celestials are like, nah, dog.
So are you telling me this guy that shows up with a glove that can do anything he wants, you don't think they should be like, maybe we should get involved here? Like,
But Thanos is an Eternal too.
So technically he's breaking the rules, so why don't they get involved?
Because the Celestials are this godlike race.
Yeah, Galactus, go on, I'm listening.
Galactus isn't a Celestial, but he's a being that's like that.
Also, the person in the trailer is in Galactus, just letting you guys know.
I know
He's
that.
blowing up.
He's
not you,
clearly-
people listening.
Well, they're idiots. They're clearly
Yes,
Celestials.
they are. They just love Galactus.
But the question is,
You clearly saw that guy in the trailer at the very beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy when they were explaining the Power Stone. He has the Power Stone and is using it to kill like people on other planets.
Yeah, another Celestial.
Yeah.
So that's that. They mentioned his name somewhere, but I can't remember what it is because they all have these silly names like the Judge and the Measurer and all of those things.
I think
Then we're going to see all of this in the Eternals movie. That before I knew that, I wasn't excited, and then I found out the Celestials are going to be there. It's going to be crazy.
I just like the fact of TV shows tying into the movies and they're not their own separate thing. Like you had, like Marvel's tried this before and it failed with like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They were like, it's going to tie into the movies.
it
didn't tie into the movie.
It was
No.
good in the beginning, but then he just went.
Yeah, and speaking of the Deviants, they did that stuff with Husk in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
the Hydra guy.
They also had very good. They had some good stuff in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like I enjoyed the Danny Rios Ghost Rider. Is that the name?
Yeah, something like that.
I like the Ghost Rider they had in there. The other Ghost Rider, and you learn his origin where Johnny Blaze actually gave him his power to save his life, or gave him the Ghost Rider curse to save his life, but he's still a Ghost Rider too. And it's like that in the comics. There's like 3 different Ghost Riders.
Are you trying to tell me that you don't prefer the Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider?
I'm telling you, I don't prefer the Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider, and here's why. You clearly said it earlier when we were talking about video games, where you said it's written for you.
Yes.
How can you mess this stuff up? Johnny Blaze is a 20-year-old, blonde-headed, crazy driver, stuntman.
Yeah.
Okay. The only thing they got right in that Nicolas Cage movie is that he's a crazy stuntman that likes red jelly beans, because that's actually a thing, I'm not mistaken, in the comics of Ghost Rider. before he got the Ghost Rider power.
To be fair to them, that movie came out during the time period when Marvel went broke and sold all the rights to their movies.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Marvel went broke and sold all the rights to their movies, and then Marvel went broke even more and then sold their company to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney was like, we're going to do something with this because you guys sold the rights but didn't sell the rights to like your major players. Cap, Iron Man, Thor, Hawkeye. Well, Spider-Man was sold to Sony.
So, pop quiz for Diamond Steve and the DillPickle. What movie saved Marvel during this time period?
Avengers.
Nope.
Spider-Man.
Nope.
Then tell us, Hardbody.
He's a famous tax evader. Ya boy Wesley Snipes.
Oh, yeah. Blade. Perfect example. But that was also like in 97 when Blade 1 came out.
Blade was big
and
for
then
Marvel.
99 Blade came out. And then 2001? 2?
You talking
Trinity
X-Men?
Came out?
Oh, Blade Trinity. Blade Trinity's a little later. We're in high school. It might be 02 or 03.
That's what I'm saying. 02,
Yeah,
03.
it had Triple H in it.
Yeah, with the capped fangs, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and
It's
Ryan
a little
Reynolds
doggy
and
that-
good stuff.
But yeah, no, then X-Men comes out, but it's for Fox, and I mean Marvel gets money off of it too, but Marvel still wasn't doing good. The comics weren't selling. I mean, at one point, you gotta look at DC sold a long time ago. That's why Warner Brothers makes all their stuff.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers just has DC as their own company. Kind of like how Disney did with Marvel. Like Marvel's still a thing when it comes to the comics and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what they're using for the name is Marvel, but they're a Disney-owned company.
They're a subsidiary of Disney. Yes.
If it's on Disney Plus, it's owned by Disney.
Yes.
Hey, exactly.
And Disney owns everything because they're an evil mega corporation.
Well,
Yeah. They will eventually own everything. They own Fox now.
Yeah.
So luckily we'll get a Fantastic Four and hopefully get a Doctor Doom that I can't wait to see on screen.
Where is Reed Richards? I need him in my life.
Yeah, for real. I need the Illuminati to show up with Strange, Professor X, Black Bolt, and Reed Richards.
How can you do the Illuminati without Stark? He's a key player, man.
I mean, I get it, but they killed him. They killed him.
The multiverse.
Illuminati is... Oh, yeah, there you go. The multiverse.
Yeah, there's no... You can do anything.
The Illuminati is a group of people, the smartest people on the planet, as they refer to themselves, that get together to make decisions without anyone else's consent. That's the group that sent Hulk to Planet Hulk. They sent him to Sakaar in the comics, and that's why he goes to this planet where he starts to be able to talk as the Hulk, and he can get cut, he can die.
But then he already went to Sakaar, so they can't do that.
Well, what the MCU has done that's so effective is they take bits and pieces from different comic storylines and they mix and match them together. So they channeled World War Hulk and that storyline in Thor Ragnarok along with some other storylines, and they just made a banger flick right there.
Thor Ragnarok, still one of the best MCU movies to come out in the last few years.
Thor movie.
It definitely,
it's definitely the best Thor movie because Dark World is terrible.
And
Thor
Thor
1 is just a typical origin story. Like, hey, here's this Norse god, and well, he's not a Norse god, but he's an alien, and whatever.
Yeah. And here's Jane Foster, who's going to be Thor after we haven't seen her for 100 movies. Like, get out of my face. I'm going to watch Love and Thunder, but my expectations are low.
My expectations are low, and I obviously still going to go see the movie. I'm just not expecting much from it.
And it's not because of Jane Foster. It's because she hasn't been there. Build me up to it, and then I can buy into it. But they haven't done that.
No, that's exactly right. They haven't done that. They haven't done anything. All they did was I believe Disney was having issues with
Natalie Portman
with her contract because she doesn't show up. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't even make like a little cameo. Like Pepper Potts made a cameo in Avengers. Like, she pops up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? She's there. Judith Paltrow, whatever her name is.
Gwyneth Paltrow, you were right.
And she doesn't even show up. Like, she gets mentioned.
Yeah.
But she doesn't show up at all. She shows up after Avengers in Thor 2. But then by Thor 3's time, they're broken up apparently. And
I mean, she gets mentioned in Endgame.
The only person that matters to me is my girl Darcy, Kat Dennings. Holler at your boy.
Holler at your boy. Diamond Steve and Josh Harbody are here. You know how to reach us. Just leave a comment, like, subscribe, holler at your boys.
Yeah, hit the bell button
and
for
check
notifications.
out DillPickle, of course.
Definitely.
So, boys, what else do you want to hit on about when it comes to Marvel?
What if? We have to talk about what if.
What do you want to talk about, Dill? Get up here and talk about it.
Let's just talk about the. Gosh, I want to talk about Loki and What If.
Okay, well let's start with What If. What's the best What If episode?
Zombies. Has to be zombies.
Absolutely
or Captain
not.
Carter.
Absolutely not.
The best
You're about
What
to
If
get
episode
Luigi.
was the one with
Strange Supreme.
Yeah, that was the best one, I think.
It's strange, other than the finale. The finale was
I
clearly.
haven't watched
Yeah.
it yet.
How have you not watched the finale?
Just don't question.
You have Disney Plus.
It's called My Weekends Being Crammed.
You have a phone.
I don't have Disney Plus.
Download
It has
it.
YouTube.
Okay, listen, I haven't watched it yet because we not talk about this.
He's too busy. Well, those two episodes together are the best. But if we're talking about standalone, Strange Supreme.
I'm talking about. I'm too busy making banger videos for real.
That's right.
There you go. All right. So, What If I think is really good. I think it's opening up the multiverse. It's showing you what can possibly happen. I saw a meme on YouTube where it was like, if Strange isn't strong enough to defeat Wanda in the Strange in the multiverse or whatever the next movie's called, I'll just go get myself. And then it's like him, but like shaded gray, and it's supposed to be the What If Doctor Strange, the Supreme Strange.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, that's
we got
perfect.
a cameo from that guy and.
I mean, all you need is Benedict Cumberbatch a little tore up a little bit, maybe a little like ears horny and like a taller cape, and we got it.
Yeah, and bags under his eyes.
Bags
all
under
those
his
things.
eyes and all those
I'd like
things.
to just get a cameo where he's just like, God, what should I do? And then he just shows up. He's like, yeah, you should use dark magic. No.
The Strange Supreme is too powerful for the MCU. He is at least twice as strong as base Doctor Strange.
He's the strongest
Monstrously
character
powerful.
in the MCU as far as I've seen.
He is. That's
Yeah.
what Uncle Joe.
Other than the Ultron we're getting.
I don't know that Ultron was that powerful.
No, the Ultron that we're getting with the Infinity Stones and the Vision body and stuff.
Oh, you haven't seen it. We'll talk
Yeah,
about
we'll
that
talk
after
about
you see
that
it.
after you see it.
About how
It's
powerful
fine,
he is.
Spoil me.
All right.
No.
Okay. No, we're not gonna do it. We'll watch it. We'll watch it. We'll get it. We'll get it. And we'll watch it, and we'll see what your thoughts are on it after that. Okay, so you guys want to talk about Loki a little bit too. Loki's just another one. Introduce one of my favorite villains.
Ya boy, Kang the Conqueror.
Some say I'm a conqueror. Some say I'm a savior.
How good was Jonathan Majors?
Oh my, I can't wait to see him actually dressed up like Kang with the helmet. And when you see the statue of the universe, wherever Loki landed after he did that, he's in a universe where Kang is looking like Kang. And I'm just like, man, he better be wearing the headgear. He better be in like the purple and green suit.
Is he just gonna be?
Kang has to be a main villain.
But is he gonna be an Avengers threat?
Yes!
I know.
He
but
has
how are
to
they
be
gonna
a-
do Avengers.
Kang is super duper 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 powerful because of his technology. Because he's from the 31st century. Like, he's totally waxes everybody. I think Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes, their episodes with Kang the Conqueror really do him
We
justice.
have technology.
It's all you need nowadays is technology, if you think about it. And he's from 20 years in the future.
20 years, like
20,000
1,000
years.
years.
That's what I meant to say. 20,000 years in the future. Sorry. Jeez. Where Strange is no more. Where they probably could have studied Strange and figured out how to beat him.
Yeah.
Where he has the time to study all the heroes and be like, no, get out of my face. No, get out of my face.
You
no,
know,
get out of my face.
I just want to say this. I have high hopes for Disney right now. Because if they have Fox, that means they have Galactus.
Yeah,
I want Galactus after Kang.
Kang might not be the next big bad.
No, he might not be. He could be just a bad for the next couple seasons of Loki and then end up being a big bad for the whole universe.
Yeah, or maybe we'll see Galactus, like Dill brought up there. We could see Doctor Doom.
I would love to see a good Doctor Doom, and I swear to God, Disney, if you screw up Doctor Doom and make him grow metal face and all this
So
dumb
bad.
stuff that Fox did, I got no words. I just need a guy who's horribly scarred with a mask on. I don't need it melted
And no
on.
nose.
I don't need anything. Yeah, and Fox, when they did give him the mask, it had a nose. No!
All he needs is diplomatic immunity
He needs
Yeah.
2 holes in his face.
and magic.
And we need Latveria. That's it.
Gonna be perfect.
I
Can't
read
wait.
Secret Wars. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about.
Well, and that's what everybody's talking about is this phase is going to culminate in Secret Wars, and that's what leads me to believe that Kang might not be the next big bad. That would mean it would have to be the Beyonder.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Who's the Beyonder?
The Beyonder's the guy that gets all the heroes and villains from the different multiverses and makes them fight.
Yeah,
And-
he's the one that causes the Secret Wars, and it's more of a intergalactic bet he has with someone else, I think.
There's a whole race
Yeah.
of Beyonders that they do later with the multiversal Avengers and all that, which is a pretty sweet storyline with Hyperion and Thor and all that.
Alright, well,
And they kill the Living Tribunal and all of those things. And I'm curious to see if Marvel brings in all of those galactic entities. They've teased Eternity. They've had the statue head in Loki that was the Living Tribunal, the staff of the Living Tribunal in Doctor Strange. You know, are we going to see Eternity, Infinity, the One Above All, and all of those things?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have met the Average Bros podcast end for the day. Hardbody, how you feeling?
I definitely need another cup of coffee because I'm a little worn down, but I've got some college football to watch.
DillPickle, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. If you guys ever want me back, you know where to find me.
Dill, I'm going to tell you it was a pleasure to have you on the Average Bros podcast today. I would have you back anytime. Tell them where they can find you. Tell them your channel. Tell them where they can find you.
DillPickle, YouTube, shorts or full-length videos.
Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button.
Hit the bell button for notifications.
And as for now, this is Diamond Steve, the hard body, DillPickle signing off. You guys have a lovely, lovely day.